Hey there, and today I'm going to be talking about different study sources that I have used outside of both my internship program and outside of my bachelor's program. Now, when I did my bachelor's program, I felt that we were limited and we didn't really fully prepare for the RD exam. Because if you haven't taken the RD exam, there's a lot of information on there that is completely different from what you may have learned on either your bachelor or your internship program. You learn a little bit of you do learn a little bit of food service, clinical. Yes, I will say that, but there's a lot of management, a lot of food service, food science that I feel I didn't really learn when I was either in my bachelor or my internship program. I don't know if it just didn't stick for me or if we really just didn't go too much in depth. I do know my internship program, they have tried to fix some of that because they got a lot of feedback from my internship class saying that we did not study it, and now they actually have study material, which is great. I know the second bachelor program that I had to retake a class from has their own course where they just talk about preparing for the RD exam, which is wonderful. But not all bachelor programs are the same. So, anyways, the first one I'm going to talk about is Visual Veggies, which in my opinion I think is the best one out of all of them. Financially, it's more feasible. It comes with a bunch of videos. Now, I didn't get the whole package where it has everything. But the one that I got, it comes with practice tests, which I haven't taken them yet, but I do plan on taking those and comparing results when before I take my test. And I've been told that it does give you a better breakdown compared to some of the other practice tests that are out there. But I really like Visual Veggies because I feel like it does a good job of breaking down all of the subjects and all of the domains, and it doesn't make it intimidating by watching a whole hour video. It's, kind of like this where it's a 5 to 10 minute video. So Visual Veggies, in my opinion, is the first best. The second best, I would say, is the Eat Right Prep Academy. Now, I like that because, of course, it's right from the company that proctors the test. The downfall, though, is if you haven't learned of this information from either your bachelor or internship program, then you're coming into this very blindsided, and you basically have to look up almost every single question or flashcard that's being provided from the academy because you don't know a lot of this information. Like bioelectrical impedance analysis, excuse me, bioelectrical impedance analysis. I never heard of that word until I started studying from eWrite Prep. So to me, I think it's great in terms of understanding all the material and being prepared for the test. I felt like most of the material I took in my last test, I knew it, or I at least heard of it, and it wasn't all foreign material. Now, the third one I'd say that I really enjoyed was the RD one and done test. Now, unfortunately, this is the most expensive of all the programs I've put money towards besides, an internship program and a bachelor's. But I will say I really like the way that she breaks down all of the subjects, and I love that she has a practice test at the end of every single lesson that she teaches. She has a podcast, and it's wonderful. And she has a program itself, and that's also wonderful. I mean, this lady, she is to the nail. She will not play around. She is serious about stuff, and I applaud her for that. So it's called a RD One and Done. Like I said, it is kind of pricey, but I think it's worth it. And I think it does a really good job. Now, obviously, all of the programs, they may not discuss every single thing you'd see on eWrite Prep, but for the most part, I think she did a pretty good job. Now, another one I liked, and I don't know how long all these programs have been around, but this is just based off 2025 things that, are currently accessible. The, what is it? the My RD Guide. I really liked that environment. They really talk about the basics. I feel like um, I didn't always see, all the things from Eat Right Prep, obviously. But they did a good job of doing the basics. And I felt like the environment was very understanding, very um, non-judgment. She does a lot of live videos, both a study, like a study video where you can ask any questions if you're currently in the program. And then there's also, the class videos. And I really enjoyed that. They also focus on Spanish speaking, which is also great if you struggle with understanding English, which I would completely understand because I don't know all Spanish words either, even for taking Spanish classes throughout my education. So I'd really recommend her. I think she was really good. She is financially cheaper than the RD One and Done, if I remember correctly. Um, so yeah, I really liked her. And I liked some of the tips and tricks that she had. I really liked that. Um, and then a couple podcasts that I've done, the My RD Guide. Is that it? No, 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 not that one. I'm trying to remember all of these because there's a lot of them. Uh, there's one of them that's with a woman, and there's one that's with a man. And both of them are good. The one with the woman, I feel like, provides a lot of support. All of her videos on Spotify will recognize somebody who just passed the test. And I think it really motivated me when I was. Here we go. I just found it on my phone. So it's called the RD Exam Made Easy podcast. And it's by Jana Nickel. And she doesn't make any videos anymore. And I'm fine with that because she's made so many of them. It looks like she's actually made 50 videos. And I know she was making them when I was taking my internship. And there's also several videos that were made before I even, I think, was applying my internship or hadn't started it yet. Yeah, this is 2022, and I wasn't doing my internship yet. But she's got a lot of videos. Now, some of them are short, but typically they're like 30 to 45 minutes to an hour long. What I liked about her was I could just play the podcast, and when I would be driving to my internship and back, I could listen to it and kind of make that a study hour on top of the hours that I was doing for the day. Because sometimes my caseload was really light, or I was only able to do a half a day, so I added that extra hour of learning into it. Now, let me find the last guy, his podcast. His podcast is good too. I think it's Chomping Down. Yeah, Chomping Down Dietetics. What's the full name is Chomping Down Dietetics presents Chomping Down the RD Exam. Now, this was out before I started my internship program, and I think now he's got his own program, which that didn't exist when I started. But this was actually the first thing that I ever looked at. And I liked his videos. I haven't seen all of them, and obviously I haven't done his program that you pay for. The podcast is free. But I liked how he really broke down food service when I was struggling to learn it at the beginning. And he talks about all four domains, but I think he's a really good podcast to look at. And I'm sure there's other programs and podcasts that have come out either since making this video or obviously after this video will be made. Um, there's one last one that I never uh bought, and I can't remember what it's called, but All Access Dietetics. I've never subscribed to them, but I've been told from people on Reddit that it's a lot of coursework and that it can be kind of overwhelming on some people who have bought it in the past. All the other programs that I've bought, they've had a due date of you need to get all this done by X date that you're taking your test, which I like that because it kicks you in the butt and it gives you a set plan on when to do things. I don't know if that's the same thing for this program because, like I said, I haven't subscribed to it. It is cheaper compared to some of the other ones, but like I said again, I've never done it, so I don't know if it's really that successful. I've never subscribed to Inman, although I've been back and forth about doing it in the past. I've taken some, well, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I've taken some of the, that free, yeah, Quizlet, that's what it's called. Somebody made a Quizlet for Inman. I don't know if it's accurate because I've never obviously subscribed, but some of the questions I've seen have kind of overlapped what's on Eat Right Prep, where others have been a little bit more specific or maybe not as updated, but that's just my own opinion. Now, the main thing that I want to discuss in this video, and why I call this YouTube channel the Calm RD, or Calm, is because I have really bad test anxiety, and I've had it since, gosh, probably first, second, or third grade. I really struggled with it over the years, and I haven't really tried to acknowledge it until this past, really the past couple months. And I found this book, and it was called Mind Over Scatter, instead of like Mind Over Matter. And it really talks about how to break down this scatter that's going on in your head, this test anxiety, and how to practice mindfulness instead. Now, I've read the book once, and I'm going to read it a second time before I take my test again. But I felt like when I compared the last 2 times I took my test, the time before, I had really bad anxiety, and I just went into this whole headspace that I couldn't process anything. I had not like a panic attack where I was struggling to breathe, but I've had that several times in the past. But I had this little anxiety attack that I couldn't process anything. And I'd read the test 5 or 6 times, the question, and I wouldn't understand what the question was. And so obviously I had to guess what the answer was because I had no idea what the question was asking. This book I'd highly recommend if you have some form of test anxiety, or even if you don't have test anxiety. I think it's a way that you still improve your score, because she talks about the reasons why you might have test anxiety, and then she'll give you ways to practice mindfulness. And I think that some of them obviously have worked and some of them haven't worked. But I think comparing the last time I took my test to the recent time I took my test, there was a huge shift in how I felt going into it. I felt more calm. I felt a little bit more at peace. But unfortunately, when I got through the second half of taking my test, there was some problems, and it got me back into that panic mode, that anxiety mode. I had a guy that was taking the test right next to me, and his computer completely froze and shut down. And I struggled to not listen to the guy, but it got in my head, and I looked at the time I had left on the test. I looked at the number of questions I was on to the test, and then I just really struggled. So if you're looking at any sort of outside study material, I would definitely recommend any of these podcasts or these programs, and of course this book. I've really felt that I've been doing a lot better. And it's not just for, the RD exam, it's just test anxiety in general. I think this book would be really good for anybody to read.